as the manager for the Fayetteville Woodpeckers inaugural 2019 season. Before I hand it over to David to formally introduce Nate, I'd like to speak a bit on the significance of Nate's role here in Fayetteville. The Houston Astros have one of the deepest farm systems in professional baseball from top to bottom. George Springer, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, all of those players began their careers in our farm system and played in our high A team, which is now based in Fayetteville. Nate's role will not only be to improve these athletes on the field, but also develop them as young men off the field and in the community. We feel that Nate is the best fit for this job, and we're really excited to have him in Fayetteville. And I'll hand it over to David.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks again for everybody coming out today. I'm David Lane. I'm General Manager for the Fayetteville Woodpeckers. We're very excited to have Nate Shaver as our manager for 2019 as we open this beautiful new stadium next door to us. Nate was with us last year in Buies Creek as a developmental coach. This is his second year with the Astros. He was very instrumental in bringing that championship to that team and making history over at Buies Creek, and we're excited and we expect him to win some championships here in Fayetteville. Nate, prior to joining the Astros, completed baseball research and fulfillment of his PhD concentration in education, learning, design, and technology. His research focused relating to improving baseball hitting skills through application of learning theory while utilizing video feedback and evaluating individual differences. He's a smart man. We're excited to have him. I'll turn it over to Nate.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Stretch out.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Great threads. Love it.
Now,
Yeah, we do that. We get it all buttoned up for us. It's all right.
It's kind of tight. Can we get you a bigger size?
That works. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Good?
Yep.
Good. Awesome. Thank you guys for the introduction. Greatly appreciate it. First of all, I just got to thank the city of Fayetteville, the Astros organization, and these two gentlemen here. This transition has been great. Communication's been awesome. I couldn't ask for a better opportunity here. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention and acknowledge the troops and the veterans and everybody who's served and that continues to serve for even allowing us even to be here and allowing myself to be in a role such as this, an opportunity such as this. So I have to mention that. This is huge. The preparation up to this point with everything that's happened, that these guys have done. They're still working and they've worked tirelessly up to this point, and I think we're ready to get it rolling. My opportunity in Buies Creek last year was great. Great staff, great guys that came through there. The development side was huge. Guys moved up, and they saw a lot of success, and that showed with what we were able to accomplish as a club within the Carolina League. So that focus will continue to be on development and their day in, day out preparation, and I look forward to working with those guys daily, and as well as these two gentlemen.
you can open up for questions if you guys are interested.
Hey, just talk about when you found out that you were going to get this position,
Yeah.
who told you, and what was kind of your reaction?
Yeah, the transition, after being a development coach last year, I wasn't too sure where I was going to be honest with you. But there was opportunities after the season, and they wanted to send me to the Dominican Republic, and I worked there at the academy with some of our younger Latin players, which was great to see the talent that we have there. I worked as a hitting coach there, and that it was just eye-opening, and guys got better over that time period, and them developing their routines at a young age is essential for them to have success at the next level. So that was great, and then I came back, and just had some conversations with our development staff and Pete and Armando, and they're like, hey, I think this might be a good fit and good transition for you, and it worked out really well. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, living so close to here and having
Yeah.
been here last year,
Yeah.
was the excitement a little extra knowing you were going to be staying close to home?
Oh
too?
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, they're it's tough for our coaches that come in and the players to be away from families for such a long period of time. So if I'm able to sleep in my own bed at night, that's a plus for sure.
Are there any challenges that you anticipate, and if so, how do you plan to overcome those with this being your first season with the
Right.
Woodpeckers?
Yeah, I thought about it. You know, I think that anything that arises is going to be more in a form of an opportunity for the direction that we want to take it. I think that we just need to continue to focus on the guys being prepared day in, day out, whether it's going to be within the community, just all the things that they need to do on the other side of baseball to help them improve as men and grow up. I think we'll be able to handle that and just make sure they're prepared. I think we'll be good.
Thank you.
How exciting is it to be a woodpecker?
It's awesome. These are awesome. I'm sure you guys have seen our logos and the different setups that we'll have with our uniforms. It's great. You know, I think the community's going to jump on it in a sense that we're supporting the woodpecker within the reserve, right? That they have.
Yeah, Fort Bragg.
Yeah,
The longleaf pine ecosystem.
the longleaf pine
We'll
ecosystem.
teach you everything.
And this
about
is
woodpeckers.
yeah. So this is something I'm going to continue to learn as I'm here. So that's good.
How many Latin players have in teams?
How many Latin
Latin
players that we'll have on the team? We'll probably have 50% Latin players on our team here. That's just a ballpark number. It's hard to say who will be here at the start of the season or at the end of the season, but that's a pretty good estimate, I'd say. It will vary team to team as well. So.
Dave, what's kind of the biggest challenge going from a developmental coach to actually being the manager of a team?
Yeah, I think just making sure that communication is strong on every point, whether it's with front office or with the coaching staff in general. We just got to communicate effectively and just make sure that we have every single resource that they need to do their job. You know, me as a development coach, basically an assistant last year, we had everything that we needed to do our jobs and help guys improve, and communication lines were strong. I think that's essential for a managerial position is you just make sure everybody has the resources that they need and take responsibility and hold everybody accountable for what they're doing.
Nate, a development coach, I'm sure that's something kind of new in professional baseball. I don't know if you're the first one to be officially labeled development coach. How did all that come about, and is that a role now in professional baseball or minor league baseball where that's becoming more of a role in organizations?
Yeah, I think there's just the title of the role is changing, just the verbiage of what they use to identify that coach. That coach has been a development coach and will continue to be a development coach. You're pretty much an intermediary between like position players, pitchers, the coaching staff. You're pretty much asked to do anything that needs to be done. And those relationships that you develop with players over that time period, you know, they're so meaningful that you're with them day in, day out. And if they can trust you to, you know, provide them with the information that's accurate, and they can see growth, and those projections for them to get to the next level, you know, it's tremendous for their careers. So that was kind of the setup for the position. I think it'll vary, you know, organization to organization, what the needs are at that position, but for the most part, it's a big role. You're a fourth coach. You know, it's huge.
Well, you and David, I mean, how much input do you guys have at this level as to who your manager might be? Do you have it at all?
So it varies position by position. We had a close relationship with Nate going back to last year at Buies Creek, and so we were able to provide input into the decision process. But ultimately, Jeff Luno in Houston and his staff make the final decision on who our manager would be.
Yeah, and how excited were you guys when y'all found out that Nate was gonna be the choice?
Yeah, very excited. Like Mark said, we got to work with them last year and spent some time over at Buies Creek and got to know the staff, and glad to have Nate join us back. The other coaches moved on, and we're glad to have a familiar face back in Fayetteville.
I think that transition's great too with our players. You know, we're gonna have a handful of those guys that we had in Buies Creek last year. So that transition for those guys, having a familiar face as a coach, as a manager, that transition's pretty smooth. So it's good.
When did you kind of figure out in life that, I mean, obviously baseball was a part of your life for a long time, but when did the idea of being a coach or a manager kind of creep into your thoughts?
Well, when I finished playing, I had the opportunity to start coaching. The first year I did, it was eye-opening, and I was like, you know, how am I gonna have the greatest impact on players? And for me, that was just to continue to learn and figure out how to communicate most effectively with them. And you know, that's the route that I took with it. And every year, just continue to keep learning. You know, develop relationships with players. They're continuing to move on. They develop into men, and they have success both on and off the field. So, you know, you gotta be a lifelong learner. You gotta continue to progress with everything that happens in technology, and yeah, that's the most you can do.
Yeah, I mean, because of your background in the technology area,
Yeah.
and the Astros seem to be on the forefront of almost every, you know, advancement in development. I mean, was that kind of part of the appeal of being in the organization?
I think that we are on the forefront, and we're continuing to push that envelope and to continue to progress. You know, we experiment with things that help players get better, and that's what's important. So yeah, the appeal is huge. On the technology side, whatever kind of feedback you can provide for guys to help them have success is, you know, that's something that we can invest in and invest our time in if it's usable.
Nate, how familiar are you with the coaching staff that you mentioned here? Do you have any?
Yeah, Jason Kanzler, Thomas Whitsett. Yeah, so I know of them. I've spoken with them since they've been hired. They're great guys. They're teachers of the game. I think we're going to get along really well. Both those guys had an opportunity to go to West Palm Beach and work a mini camp recently, so they got a good introduction prior to going to spring training this year. So yeah, those guys, they're great guys. I had good long conversations with them, and I look forward to working with them.
Hey, how old are you?
32.
Yeah, I mean, is that a benefit too? I mean, you're close to the age of some of these guys, are not that far away,
Right.
and relating to guys, particularly at this level. Do you think that's kind of an advantage?
Yeah, it's advantageous, I think, in a sense that I can, if you can open up those doors for communication with anything, whether it's, you know, culturally or just having some sort of connection, it's huge. You know, you just try to open those doors for communication on the baseball side and life, and you work from there. And once you develop those relationships, you know, the sky's kind of the limit of you know, of those things that they need to progress on. So yeah, I think it's advantageous.
So with your background in the PhD,
Yeah.
what's one of the most difficult things getting a batter who's not doing so well to improve?
I'm not sure that there's a difficulty on that side with my education per se. However, you know, it's just those daily struggles that guys go through on a day-to-day basis. You know, they got to learn to deal with those things and learn to deal with failure. And especially at this level, they're gonna be challenged. And when they face those challenges, you know, they got to rely on their routine and their preparation to make sure that all that stuff's in check. And if they're preparing correctly, they're going to have success. You know, so, you know, we can look back on that side of, you know, were you prepared? Okay, you may not have had success, but you're preparing correctly. And as long as you're preparing correctly, then when they have an opportunity to have that success, it's going to happen. So.
Mark or David, I just got a tweet from somebody. They want to know about when will tickets be available to purchase, and are there any way for free tickets? But anyway, I know the season tickets are available, or the half season, I guess, single game.
Full season tickets are currently available. Half season tickets are currently available. Individual ticket sales will begin in March of this year, ahead of opening day.
Have you set game times yet? I know that was still being discussed a while back.
We have had discussions on game times. We have not publicly announced the game times yet. We've worked with the city, we've worked with the community on gathering feedback on when the appropriate game times will be. And we've actually made adjustments to our original projection based off of community feedback. We will have our announced game times coming soon.
I know the city's responsible for construction, but all indications from you guys will open on time and everything's ready to go?
Yes, the stadium will be complete March 29th. Our ribbon cutting ceremony will occur on April 13th. The city is handling the ribbon cutting ceremony. We can't thank them enough for finding a way to welcome the community into our new ballpark. And then our opening day versus the Carolina Mudcats occurs on April 18th, 2019.
How exciting will it be to maybe play in front of a few thousand instead of a couple of hundred?
It was great. The fans we had last year were extremely loyal.
Yeah.
The fans that came out, so that was awesome. You know, anytime you can develop an atmosphere where, you know, you've got some sort of resemblance of the next level that they're going to be playing at, and just that community involvement is huge. So it's great for the players. You know, they feed off that energy, and you know, when they continue to move up, they're prepared for that level. So yeah, it's going to be great.
All set. Thank you, everyone.